All right, today we're going to talk about a book that will absolutely get under your skin. We're diving into Han Kang's The Vegetarian. Now, this is an internationally acclaimed novel, and don't let its size fool you. It is slim, but man, is it deeply unsettling. It's really a story about a woman's rebellion against, well, against everything. And her transformation is so profound, you're not going to forget it anytime soon.
So let's just jump right in. Even the cover gives you a little hint of what you're in for. And this quote from Publishers Weekly, it just nails it. Ingenious, upsetting, and unforgettable. I mean, that's pretty much the perfect way to describe the journey we're about to go on together.
Okay, so part one, an unremarkable wife. What's so interesting here is that our story doesn't even start with the woman at the center of it all. No, we begin by looking through the eyes of her husband, a guy named Mr. Chung. And from his point of view, his life is just perfectly, boringly ordinary.
Yeah, so we're seeing this whole world through his eyes first, and his view of his wife Young-hae, it just sets this incredibly unsettling tone right from the get-go. He actually admits that he picked her, he married her for one reason, because she was, and I'm quoting him here, completely unremarkable. Wow.
So he paints this picture of a woman who isn't really a person, you know? She's more like a convenient accessory for his life. Super passive, quiet, never asks for anything. The only thing he finds unusual about her is that she doesn't like wearing a bra, and even that is just framed as something that annoys him. It's like she's defined entirely by having no definition at all.
All right, on to part two. I had a dream. Because this whole carefully ordered, unremarkable life we've been talking about, it's about to get completely shattered. All because of one single terrifying event.
So, picture this. It's like 4 in the morning, middle of the night, and her husband finds her just standing there, motionless, in the dark kitchen. He says she's ramrod straight, like a ghost, and she won't answer him at all. Super creepy.
And when she finally does speak, her voice is totally calm, totally clear. But what she says, it offers zero comfort. Just this one deeply haunting line. I had a dream.
And from there, the story just plunges us right into the dream itself. It all starts in this really disorienting, scary place, dark woods.
And let me tell you, this dream is filled with some seriously visceral, violent stuff. The narrator describes seeing these great blood-red gashes of meat just hanging there, dripping blood, and there's no way out. It's a total nightmare.
And you really have to notice the raw, sensory detail here. Blood in my mouth, blood-soaked clothes. I mean, this isn't just a bad dream. It's described like a physical traumatic experience. And this is what kicks off her entire radical transformation.
Which brings us to part 3, a body of refusal. So after this dream, Young-hae's rebellion starts, and it begins with her food. But believe me, it's going to consume her entire being before this is over.
So what's the first thing she does? She goes to the kitchen and just systematically empties out their fridge and freezer. We're talking every single piece of meat, fish, eggs. If it came from an animal, it's gone.
And this moment just captures the whole conflict of the book perfectly. On one hand, you have her husband, who just sees sheer obstinacy. He thinks she's just being difficult. But for Young-hae, it's something way, way deeper. She actually tells him, the lives of the animals I ate have all lodged there. Their lives still stick stubbornly to my insides. Chilling, right? And pretty soon, this refusal goes way beyond just food. Her husband tries to be intimate with her, and she totally rejects him. She tells him, your body smells of meat. So you see, she's not just repulsed by the food itself, but by the whole world that consumes it. And her own body becomes the battlefield for this whole struggle. She starts getting thinner and thinner, so much so that her cheekbones become indecently prominent. I mean, she is literally wasting away, and her physical body becomes this testament to her conviction. Okay, part 4, the family's fury. Well, you knew this private rebellion couldn't last forever, right? Her husband gets her family involved, and it all leads to this absolutely horrifying confrontation. So what do? They set up a family dinner with literally one goal in mind: force Young-hae to eat meat. See, in their eyes, her choice isn't a belief or a principle. It's a sickness. It's an act of defiance that has to be stamped out so everything can go back to normal.
And the tension just skyrockets. Her father, who by the way is this authoritarian guy who used to beat her as a kid, just starts screaming at her. He bellows, if he tells you to eat, you eat.
So when screaming doesn't work, what does he do? He turns to physical force. He actually grabs a piece of sweet and sour pork and tries to jam it into her mouth, physically prying her lips open. It's just awful.
She finally manages to spit the meat out, and her reaction, it's described as something completely primal. It's not a human scream. It's an animal cry of distress that bursts out of her, almost as if she was the one being slaughtered.
And at that point, she's been pushed to the absolute limit. She grabs a small fruit knife, and in this just shocking moment of violence, she cuts her own wrist. The book says blood ribboned out of her wrist. It's like she's choosing her own violence over theirs. She'd rather hurt herself than let them violate her body anymore.
And that brings us to the final part, an unknowable woman. Obviously, the dinner ends with a trip to the emergency room. And it's there that her husband is finally forced to confront the absolute stranger his wife has turned into.
As he's just watching her lying there in the hospital bed, he has this moment of just stark realization. He thinks, I do not know that woman. And it was true. It was not a lie. I mean, the unremarkable woman he thought he married, she's completely gone, replaced by someone he can't even begin to understand.
So, we're gonna jump right into part 2. This part's told by her brother-in-law, who's totally obsessed. He gets fixated on this birthmark. For him, it's a symbol she's leaving her humanity behind. He sees the mark as this pure, plant-like innocence, an escape from, messy human desires. This obsession leads to his artistic vision. He's got to paint her entire body with flowers. And she agrees to it. She becomes his canvas, which just speeds up her transformation away from being human. These painted flowers, they're like her new skin. She won't wash them off. The change is becoming real.
And yeah, this art project completely blows up the family, and Young-hae gets institutionalized.
Okay, so that brings us to the final section, now seen through the eyes of her sister, In-hae. In the hospital, her rejection of being human just skyrockets. She's refusing all food now. See, she truly believes she's turning into a tree, convinced that all she needs is sunlight to live. But this belief has a devastating physical cost. Her body is literally just withering away.
And this really shows her ultimate goal, right? To get to a state completely beyond any human needs.
Her sister starts to wonder, is all of this actually an escape from a lifetime of trauma?
So what does this radical act of self-denial really symbolize? What's going on here?
Well, one critic suggests her journey is actually a pretty logical response to a brutal, violent world. So is this madness or a rational escape? The book leaves you hanging with that huge question.
And that leaves us, the readers, with the book's big, central, haunting question. It's the kind of question that really sticks with you long after you've finished reading. What is all this, really? Is Young-hae's transformation an act of madness? Is she descending into mental illness? Or is it something else? Could it be a final, desperate, even violent attempt to break free from a world that was trying to consume her whole?